Welcome to Unleashing Happiness, the podcast where I teach you how to change your mindset, change your habits, and actually change your life. Happy Wednesday and welcome back to Unleashing Happiness. I'm Cecilia Hendricks, and I am here to teach you ways to not only change your mindset, focus on changing your habits, and truly these things together end up changing your life. They kind of work in conjunction. As you change your mindset, your identity of yourself, your concept of yourself changes. And as that changes, your habits change. And then you can work it the other way around, where you can focus on your habits, start making small, sustainable changes within your day. And then those changes end up changing your mindset, changing your identity, the state that you're dwelling in, your mental well-being. All of it ends up tying together. And my goal in this show is to teach you the pragmatic ways that you can focus on these things, these habits that you have, the mindset that you have, the way that you're looking at the world and enjoying your life so that you can make sustainable changes in your life and live a much more fulfilled life, have more energy, be more focused on the end goals that you have by working on the processes and taking it step by step, giving yourself high fives along the way, congratulating yourself, and just really being excited for the things that life is doing for you and the way that life is working out for you. Because as you start to change the way that you look at things, your emotional reactions, so we talk a lot here about emotional intelligence, learning how to lean into being really curious about the way that you feel, the way that you're acting, your behaviors, your habits, etc. Because all of that bubbles up to you having a more fulfilled life because your habits and your mindset are aligned with an identity of someone who does have a life that they truly love. I've got a lot of great topics to talk about today that really help you start to align yourself and your identity to being the person that you want to be. And that person is really, it's up to you. It's all dependent on what you want in life, what your desired outcome is. And really, when you have that goal in mind, you have something to aim towards, you have something to focus on, it's really the best start. And so today we'll talk about some ways to start becoming more proactive within your day. These are all tools that I have used that have really helped my energy levels, the way that I'm able to focus, and the things that I get done throughout the day. And hint, it does come to also prioritizing the things that you want to do each day, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. I will also be sharing about the practice of adding daily joys to your day. If you have listened to me for a while, you're definitely familiar with those, but I also often need the reminder to add these to my day and to be really present. And then if you're new here, this is a great introduction for you to adding daily joys to your day and what that really does for you. And then I want to talk about how you may be stuck in a cycle of looking for an external condition for you to receive a feeling and putting that external condition as your future self, right? Like once I have X, then I can be happy. Once I lose the weight, then I can feel good about myself. And so I want to start working on your mindset and the habits that you have so that you shift it to having the feeling and the feeling leading to the condition. And a lot of my content in the way that I have paired things in my own life comes down to taking spiritual teachings, which is definitely, a manifestation type focus where it says, hey, when you want to be this person, you actually have to become that person first. You die to your old self and you become this new person. And it's also the scientific pieces that you are kind of always looking for confirmation that you are right? Your brain always wants to say, yep, you are correct. Here's that confirmation that you are because of the ways that you're behaving. And so it's really pairing those together to make sure that as you're becoming your ideal self, that you are being your ideal self, and that you are confirming that to yourself with your daily habits. And a lot of those are very small changes that you can make within your day that aligns more to the type of life that you want to lead. And so we'll talk about that quite a bit more. And then I want to talk about seeking confirmation in actually two ways. One is to look for the small wins. That is to say, oh, look at this. This confirms to me that I am this person. I am becoming this person who acts in this way and behaves in this way. And on the flip side of that, it's to stop the habit of seeking confirmation for something that you are hoping for or desiring. So if you are doing some sort of manifestation technique, that you are not immediately starting to seek confirmation and then falling into a cycle of feeling like, great, it's not here, nothing ever works, my life sucks, whatever kind of feelings those are that bubble up from that. But usually if you finish some sort of technique and immediately start seeking an external confirmation that what you did was correct, your core feeling is actually for the seeking of the confirmation, not necessarily that you are that person. And we'll get into that a little bit more. The first piece when we're looking at any of this is to start identifying the way that you feel currently right now versus waiting for an external condition. The example I'll use is like with weight loss. A lot of times you hear people say something even as small as, well, as soon as I lose 20 pounds, I'll go to the pool. As soon as I lose 10 pounds, I'll start to feel better about myself. As soon as I lose this weight, then I'm able to be happy. Or you can see it like even within a love life situation. As soon as I find a partner, I'll feel more fulfilled in life. And there's a little bit of a secret with this, and maybe it's not so much of a secret. That external condition is not actually going to create the feeling for you. The feeling actually comes first. And that's why it's important for you to start focusing on yourself now and how you're feeling internally, and your external conditions, the things that are happening to you and for you in life, will actually start to align with those feelings and the things that you're doing, versus waiting and saying, I'm going to wait until I get to this point and then I can be happy. I'm going to wait until I have this specific item or person in my life for me to start enjoying life and feeling better about life and feeling more fulfilled in doing things for myself. And it should never be an external condition. It always has to start with you. And if you look back throughout history, there's tons of quotes that support this as well. Like Albert Einstein once said, if you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. And I've always read this as not putting your happiness onto an external event having to happen. Instead, tie it to a goal in the process that you're working to get to that goal. Because at that point, you're working on yourself. It all goes back to really prioritizing yourself, being a bit selfish with the energy that you have, the way that you spend your time, and making sure that you're truly filling your cup first. And then Winston Churchill once said, attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. And it's fine, I think, when people and teachers and gurus say this kind of stuff, like, hey, you have to really focus on your attitude and you need to change your mindset. But it's a little bit harder to do if you don't have the steps to do that and to allow you to start focusing instead on the feeling within yourself. That's why my recommended process is to first start with a desired outcome. You need to know what it is you want in order to start moving towards that. I do have a journal that you can download. I'll put the link below in the show notes. The journal is really just designed, I think it's less than 10 pages, but it's designed for you to start identifying the ways that you want to feel each day. What are the things that you want to do? How do you want to feel when you go to bed at night? What are the aims that you have in life that you would like to obtain for yourself? And starting with that aim gives you something to focus on. And then really the key is learning how to repeatedly return to that focus. This isn't really about willpower. Willpower can sometimes, it can falter. Like you can have a lot of motivation and willpower, but really what it comes down to is creating a disciplined mindset for yourself. And discipline doesn't mean like stern and not fun. It just means that you are disciplined enough to say, this is what I'm going to do. And each day I'm going to set up a process for me to work towards this goal. And the more that you work towards that goal, the more you identify one as a person who does these kind of things and shows up for themselves and can be the person they want to be and live a life that they want to live. And two, you are identifying with the person who has this desired outcome. So when you look at having an aim and you say, okay, if I have this desire in life, then when I take a look at how that person would behave, so I map out if I want X experience in life, these are the habits and the daily routines that I believe I would do as someone who had that experience. And then you start to really reflect your life with that. And part of that, I don't know anybody who wants to live something of a happy and fulfilled life that is not doing things for themselves on a daily basis. And it sometimes it's very unconscious, right? Like you're not even realizing that as you work towards this, you're feeling better about yourself. And the better you feel about yourself, the more you want to take care of yourself, the more you want to give to you and reflect out to the world that you truly love yourself. And I don't know why there seems to almost be a shameful or almost embarrassed, like wanting to be overly humble when we talk about ourselves and the love that we have for ourselves. And it's like, for some reason out in society, there almost seems to be this like, well, don't be too full of yourself. And there is a difference between being completely cocky full of yourself to the point that it comes off very like rude and belittling to others versus saying, you know what, I really love myself and I love myself enough to show up for myself every single day. And maybe you don't feel that right now. And I promise you that by following these steps, you will start to recognize the love that you do have for yourself and the things that you want to do for you so that you enjoy life. And one of those is adding daily joys to your day. So you get out a piece of paper and you write out all the things that you absolutely love to do. Just things that make you feel good. And they can be so small. Reading a book, sitting in the sunshine, taking your dog for a walk, smelling flowers, going for a swim, playing basketball, whatever it is, like drinking a cup of coffee, making nice tea, taking a bubble bath, a hot shower, brushing your hair, painting your nails, anything. It can be bigger items, of course, as well, but I like to start with the small things and start to recognize those in my life. And then you choose every day, even if your day is difficult, if you're struggling to get out of bed in the morning, if you don't see much joy in your current life, if your mind is just really struggling with the position that you're in, pick one thing that you're going to do for yourself. Make a decision that for my joy today, I'm going to make my bed. I'm going to dust off the top of my dresser. I'm going to make myself a sandwich. I'm going to sit outside for 5 minutes. I'm going to take a bubble bath. Even if you don't feel like doing it, and even if you're like rolling your eyes, like I'm not going to get joy out of this, I need something bigger, still do it. Write out the list of things that either you know that you have found joy in the past, that you used to enjoy as a child, or things that you find online that maybe you could start to enjoy. Things that I like to do that I really used to enjoy doing as a child is like playing a game of hide and seek. Super fun. I love to go play pickleball. I didn't necessarily do that as a child, but playing games, like I really liked that. I love playing cards with my family while we eat dinner. Another one is going to the playground and swinging. And stuff that can be, around the house is like painting my toenails. I enjoy to brush my hair. I like to wash my face and do skincare, maybe put on a mask. There's certain things that you can do that are reflective for you showing up for yourself, you doing something for you. And when you do those things, you're going to build it into your to-do list. And we'll get into to-do lists here a little bit more. Stay with me. But you're going to build it into your to-do list. And you're going to build it into your schedule for the day. The things that you are saying, I'm going to get this done today. And so when you have that moment, and I don't care if it is 2 minutes, right? For 2 minutes, I'm going to go sit outside in the sun. And I want you to close your eyes and I want you to take a deep breath. The way that I like to do it, that is super relaxing for me, is that I take one big, really big, deep breath in. And then at the top of that, and this is through my nose. So one big, deep breath in through my nose. And at the top of that, I take one more quick breath. It literally feels like there's no more room in my lungs. I hold that for a couple seconds. And then I slowly release through my mouth. So you can sit outside and do that a couple times. Close your eyes if you wish, or at least relax them, and start to notice the things around you. So pick out things that you can see, things that you can feel, hear, smell, and taste. Sometimes I leave taste out, depending, but for the most part, I will focus on all of my senses and go through them one by one. And you can even do a countdown, or you can have as many, like you can say 3 things I can see, 3 things I can hear, 3 things I can feel, 3 things I can smell, 1 to 3 things I can taste, if you want to include that part. And doing that brings you into this moment. It grounds you. It gives you something to think about that is maybe not the thoughts that you're trying to escape. And it's okay if right now you're really doing this so that you can escape thoughts. That is your joy, that you are giving yourself a reprieve from the struggles that you are having on a daily basis. You are giving yourself this moment of peace and of focusing on something else. And seriously, make it just a couple minutes. The longer, the better. I think it's fantastic. If you can do more than 1 a day, that is amazing. Like if you can make sure that you are consciously choosing, 3 to 10 joys per day, that's fantastic. That's why I like them to be small, because you're telling yourself, I'm showing up for me. I'm doing this for myself, and it'll start to naturally increase your feelings of gratitude. It's not fake. It's not something that you are forcing yourself to do. And it is very simple, even if you are struggling currently in life, to just do something for you. It can even be something that you build into a habit that you already have. So this is considered habit stacking. So let's say you have to drive to work. So you get into the car and you say, you know what? I'm going to purposely choose an upbeat song to listen to, one that just tends to make me feel a little bit better. And then you can go ahead and listen to that. One of the ones that I really love and I would recommend if you would like to find one to listen to is called Hope by Camel Fat. Actually, a couple other ones that I really like is Flawless by Mercy Me, Still Rolling Stones by Lauren Daigle. Hopefully I'm not messing that up. Anything Can Happen by Sunshine Rains. Turn to Gold by Isaiah. And Sunshine by One Republic. So if you're not sure which ones to use, those could be a good list for you. I've always really enjoyed those songs. I've got kind of more that I can do at some point as well and share, but those are kind of some good ones to at least get you started. But then you really focus on the fact of saying to yourself, even if it feels fake to start, I'm doing this for me right now. I'm making a choice right now to show up for myself. And that might actually be, if you are really in a position of struggling, you could truly make the thing that you're going to do for yourself getting up and splashing water on your face. It can be the most small item, but you're doing it for you. And you're saying, this is the joy that I'm bringing to my day right now because I'm choosing myself. And that's why I like to put it on a to-do list, especially when I get started. Each morning, part of my routine is to write out a to-do list for the day. I add things even like make my bed, take a shower, walk the dog. These are things that I do every single day regardless, but I still put them on my to-do list because then I cross it off and I'm like, go me, I did it. Nice job. So you can start very small. And one of the things that's really important to do with a to-do list is to not make it overwhelming. So often I have a daily to-do list. And then I also take a look at kind of a weekly one and one that's more like a running to-do list. It usually falls within that month. But, like let's say my boss gives me a presentation that's due, but it's not due for 2 weeks. I'll put that on my running to-do list. And then I can kind of keep track of that one as I'm going. If I need to hire somebody to blow out the sprinklers, or if I need to get my car in for an oil change, these are all kind of on the running one. So I don't forget them, but they're not like have to be done right now. And then eventually they work their way from that to-do list to my daily to-do list or weekly to-do list. And I'm definitely a list person. I like to sometimes keep them in my phone, or I will write it out on paper. Big notebook person. I really enjoy paper and writing things out. It's just a better way for me to get from my brain, kind of out into the world so that I'm focused on it a little bit more. But it's very important to not make your to-do list so overwhelming that you don't finish it, right? Like if these are the things that you say you're going to do today, then show up for yourself and get them done today. And sometimes that is way easier said than done, especially if the day goes off the rails or something comes up. And then in those moments, give yourself forgiveness. Not finishing a to-do list is not the end of the world. Not getting it done is not going to completely derail you or your goals. It's just important to make sure that you end up refocusing and get back on track. This really comes back to choosing what you dwell in, and dwelling in something that you feel you failed at does not actually get you anywhere. Give yourself some forgiveness. Move on from it. And instead, it's really just getting back up on the horse and saying, okay, I kind of faltered here. I really don't want to do that again. And here's why. And then get curious about yourself. Why did I fall off? Why did I not complete this? And sometimes it could be something like I ended up, getting sick in the middle of the day and I didn't feel good. I came down with a migraine, or my kids ended up needing more help with their homework than I had planned. And at that point, it's like, well, why would I be upset with myself for this? This is completely understandable. If it comes down to saying, well, I just kind of got overwhelmed, and so I didn't finish because I didn't know how to refocus myself. And instead, I just decided not to do anything, which, trust me, I've been there too, where I do overwhelm myself. And then it becomes an issue of taking a look at what I'm actually putting on that list. What can I put on there that would not overwhelm me and would make me feel productive for the day? A couple things that I like to do to make my day more productive and get more done, feel like I have more energy, is that one, I start my morning by getting morning sunlight. I actually usually wake up before the sun. So I wait until there is the sunrise coming up. And even if it's cold outside, I'll go spend 10 minutes or so outside getting some morning light. This really is a great way to kick off your day. And if you can't do that, then start your day by getting lights turned on in your house. I spent a really long time kind of fumbling around, honestly, in the dark around my house because I wasn't turning on lights because I didn't want like the bright lights. But truly getting started in this way, either getting morning light or by getting bright lights turned on, you kind of kick off your circadian rhythm, which helps you balance out your wake sleep cycle throughout the day. Another thing that was recommended to me was to delay my coffee intake. So instead, start my morning with drinking water and then have coffee a little bit later. Anywhere I have found for me, if I wait about 30 to 60 minutes, it works the best. You may have to play with this, and it doesn't actually affect everybody. So if you are first thing waking up and going for coffee, you may want to try to delay that a little bit and see if that affects your energy levels later in the afternoon. Getting some form of movement is also really important. On the days that I have time before doing school drop off, I'll get the dog out for a walk. And I take this walk without my sunglasses. And the reason for that is so I can get more of that morning light. I'm not recommending you look directly into the sun, of course, but just being outside, not through a window, not through a filtered pair of sunglasses, and getting that morning light really kicks off your day and the rhythm for you to be able to feel more energized and be more productive throughout your day. The other nice thing about this is that you're adding movement to your morning. It just kind of gets you going. It's really good for your mental health. It's good for your physical health. And it's a great way to create this morning routine that is really going to optimize the rest of your day. Then again, what I said before is I write out a to-do list. And within that to-do list, I add small wins for myself, such as like making the bed. I make sure that I build in the daily joys that I'm going to do and kind of outline maybe the time that I'm going to do those. And if you're just getting started, I would also put a reminder like in your phone. So maybe set an alarm or ask your Alexa to set an alarm. And then you can have something that tells you, this is the time, this is what I'm going to do. And then you can get kicked off on making sure that you add that daily joy to your life. And then I write out on my to-do list some productivity breaks. I actually picked up this habit from Shelby Sacco, who has the Sad to Savage podcast. And she wrote out a list of kind of her productivity breaks that she would include in her day. And some of those would be like, if you're going to get up after working, you've been focused on something for a while, you can get up and go do something like put in a load of laundry. Maybe it's unload the dishwasher, sweep the kitchen floor, make the bed could be a good one for that. You're going to do 10 jumping jacks or 10 push-ups, whatever it is, something like a physical small activity. One that she recommended that I actually found that I really enjoy as well is going around to all the bathrooms and taking out the trash, maybe wiping down the mirrors. As you can see, there's a huge list that you can do, but it's really something that'll take you less than 10 minutes, but add some productivity to your day. And then in this point, you are now kind of increasing your energy because you're not just sitting. Movement actually creates energy. When I was a kid, my mom used to always say that you have to use energy, or to make energy, you have to use energy. And it would drive me crazy because I'd be like, yeah. I just want to sit here. I don't want to do anything. I'm tired. But it's true. Mom, you were correct. I do confirm this in many, many ways that I did not understand when I was younger. But you getting up and getting that movement actually will naturally increase your energy levels. And at first it may be difficult, but again, it goes back to saying, I'm going to make these changes for myself. I'm going to show up for me and I'm going to get this done. And hopefully by now you're starting to see this connection between what we were first talking about. Now you are making the steps when you add these kind of things to your day to become the person to align with your ideal self. So you're saying, this is the kind of person that I want to be. These are the ways that I would behave. And now I'm aligning it. This is working on your inner feelings. This is the actual practical way to change the way that you feel about yourself. And it's daily, small, sustainable steps. It's small things like anything that I've shared today. Pick and choose what works for you, especially to get started. These are all things that I did for myself and that I found immense improvement in my life by incorporating these. And it took a really long time for me to figure out what would work and what would not. And that's why I wanted to share it in this kind of way. But aligning yourself to your ideal self first, instead of waiting for an external condition, loving you now, showing up for you now, doing the things that increase your energy and just make you feel better right now is a much better way to deal with life and to improve your own mental health, the energy that you feel, the way you feel about yourself, and it will extend out to the relationships that you have within your life. You'll start to see improvement in the perception that you have of the way people treat you, the way that the world works, the way things work out for you. This is kind of how the lucky girl syndrome really worked when that was going around TikTok a few months ago. It's not about mindlessly telling yourself something. It's about showing yourself that this is who you are. And it's not necessarily the requirement of seeking confirmation of an external act in order to feel a certain way. Before, I talked about if you do some sort of technique, like let's say you do a visualization or a meditation on a very specific outcome, and then when you come out of that technique, you immediately start to seek a confirmation that whatever you did just worked. You're actually still looking now for this external confirmation to feel a certain way. Instead, you want to start to shift that very slowly, especially if you've been struggling with this, very slowly shift it from an inner feeling to the external condition that then comes from that inner feeling. And at first it feels a little weird to kind of look at things this way. It's rather unnatural, but the more that you do it and the more that you show up for yourself and you add gratitude and joy to your day and you're starting to do things to improve life for you, the better things start to work out for you. And then eventually it's very difficult to not continue to have this great faith in focusing on you and the way that you feel and the things that you're doing, because you know that externally that's going to be reflected back to you and you don't have a doubt in that. This becomes with seeing who you want to be right now instead of making it a future event. When I look at a very spiritual way of looking at this, and I think of like techniques from like a Neville Goddard or the spiritual kind of teachers for law of attraction or law of assumption, they're saying that you need to focus on how you feel right now, this event being here now for you. Instead of looking at, I'm doing this technique so that in the future, this thing will happen for me. I'm going to do this focused meditation, or I'm going to try to work on revision or whatever else it is so that my future self can have XYZ thing, XYZ outcome, and be this type of person. And instead, you want to shift this to a feeling that you are that person right now. How does it feel to have this thing currently right now? And it's very woo-woo, but the future is never actually here. You're always only living in whatever the current present moment is. So when you're continuing to only focus on getting something in the future, my belief and my experience has been that you're just delaying it. You are at that point more so daydreaming than you are becoming this person. And when I stopped and said, okay, how do I become this person? This is how this all started for me, because focusing on what I felt was the techniques at the time was not necessarily working for me. Instead, it was creating kind of more frustration because I was seeking these external events. And so I would continue to look for someone to explain this to me. And I just was finding more confusion and I just wasn't clear, because to me, it's like, well, I am doing these things. And these are the messages that I get too. I am doing that. I am focused on this. I am making sure that I'm imagining and I'm doing these things, but it's still not happening for me. And that's why, is because when you are daydreaming and thinking of something that you would like to have happen in the future, it's just a daydream. That's the reason why, and this is maybe a little not safe for work. I'm just going to put that message out here in case you have kids in the car, maybe fast forward about 20, 30 seconds. But if you, like, people will say, well, I've imagined myself having sex with, a specific celebrity for years and that never happened. Well, no, you didn't. You daydreamed about it. You fantasized about it. There's a difference there. And so that's the difference that you're looking at, is having this present moment, being this person that shows up for themselves right now, because that's the kind of person you would be. Somebody living an ideal life with the love that they want, with the wealth that they want, with the health that they want. there's habits that they're going to have that you probably are actually having habits right now that are in direct opposition of that feeling. And becoming honest with yourself, being open and saying, okay, let's just try this. If you've been on the cycle, let's say for a couple of years, even a few months, and you're frustrated and you don't like it, then try it this way and see what happens. Take these tools, put them into your day, start to show up for yourself and add daily joys for yourself, and just see what happens. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? Like, it's already not working for you. What's the worst that's going to happen? And I say that because I have complete faith it will work. I have complete faith that you will find more mental clarity. You will find more energy. You will find more fulfillment and more happiness in your life because you're starting to focus on yourself. And the more that you do that, the better the external world will end up being for you. So I hope this was helpful. I'm definitely hoping that I hit all my points. I think that I did. If not, maybe I'll do a bonus episode later today to make sure that I get all of those, but I'm pretty sure I did. If you have any questions, by all means, shoot me an email. I would absolutely love to hear from you. I absolutely always love hearing from everybody. In addition to that, remember down in the show notes, I'm going to put a link to a free journal that I have. It's to figure out kind of what your desired outcome is, the way you would like to feel when you go to sleep at night. Definitely free. So sign up if you would like to get a copy. And in addition to that, I do also have some happiness courses that are launching. You can find those on my website. I'll put the link below. If you're interested, if you're looking for something that has more accountability and more direct kind of step-by-step guides, definitely check that out. And if you have any questions about it, shoot me an email. But I will be back, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Thank you again for joining me today. If you'd like to learn more about all things going on with me, go ahead and visit my website at ceciliahendricks.com.